I'm going to go through this review as quickly as I can. I'm going to do all 20 of the problems. So I will not be spending a lot of time explaining them. I'm just simply going to work through those. And I also chose to go through those in the sequence of the book. So in other words, we're starting off with number 5 right here. Number 5, and that is in 39. Problem number 2. The ratio of white marbles to black marbles is 7 to 10. Ratio is 7 to 10, and the total of that is 17. It says black to, it says white to black. White to black, and this is a total. And if there were 136 marbles in the bag, that sounds like the total, so I will do my ratios. With the total here is 17, and it's asking to solve for the white, which is a 7. And the total is 136. So once I'm there, I will have my white. I multiply across the corner and divide. 136 times 7 divided by 17 equals 56. So white equals 56. The next problem is number 4. And 4 is 73, practice E. 73, practice E says the urn contains 5 orange marbles and 6 blue marbles. Okay, and it also has a and a B, so we will A and a B. I'm going to go ahead with, it says the 2 marbles are drawn at random, so I'll put my 2 lines immediately. The first is with replacement, and the second was without replacement. So the total amount of marbles is 5 orange and 6 blue. That is 11. This one. And then the second part, it says without replacement, so I know I threw 1 away, and I'll be down to 10 here. Okay. What is the probability that the first marble is orange? That's 5. That's 5 orange. And the second marble is blue, and there are 6 blues. And this was the orange was thrown away. So there's my 2 ratios, and now I cross cancel everywhere possible. Here, multiply these. I do not see anywhere where I can cross cancel, so it's 5 times 6 is 30 over 121. There should be my answer for that one. And then when I did not replace it, there is a place here we can reduce. So we will cross cancel here, 1 and 2. And also I can cross cancel here. It's going to be 3 and 1. So my answer is 3 over 11. That's number 4. Go to problem number 2. Problem number 2 is 8314. Says consider the equations y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 1. Is this pair of equations consistent, inconsistent, or dependent? All right, I'll just put these up here. Y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 1. Here is the key to these. If you have a negative and a positive, when you put them on here, if you remember, positive goes uphill, right, like this one, and negative goes downhill. So they will cross. When the lines cross, they are consistent. So if you can solve for these two equations and see that you have a negative and a positive, it's going to be a consistent problem. You can work them out on the board if you'd like. When they are the same, they may either be inconsistent, which means they run parallel, or they may be, the other possibility is dependent, and that's when they run exactly with each other. I can tell you on the test, you will be working with two equations like this that are not in this order. The first thing you do on your test on this particular problem is put them in these orders like this, and that takes a little time. Take your time. Once you get that, you'll see that they're either a one positive, one negative, or they may be both positive, both negative. But then you can solve, and you can always graph it to be sure. That is number 2. Number 3 is the next one. Number 3 is 94.3. Okay. Pitts bought pots for $5 and Joe bought buckets for $7. So we have pots and buckets. Pots plus buckets equals, let's see if we can find how many total. There were 192. And then we see that the pots were $5 each, so I'll put 5p, plus there were $7 for the buckets. And now we want our dollar amount, and that is $11.40. All right, so I can get the equation. I'm going to solve here for p, so I got 5, and p equals, if I put the b on the other side, it's going to be a negative b plus the 192 plus 7b equals 1140. Negative 5b plus 192 times 5 equals 960 plus 7b equals 1140. 5b, negative 5b and positive 7b is going to be a 2b equals 1140 minus 960 equals 180. Let me subtract the 2 here. That comes divided by 2. B equals 90. So I put 90 up here where B is. Then that means that pots equals 102. Does it ask for both of those? I don't know. How many of each type did they buy? That is it. 90 and 102. That's number 3. I'm going to number 1. Number 1 is 105.1. Okay, we have a distance problem here. To start off, I know it's a distance problem. I'll do this. Louise ran to Versailles and then walked back to town. So he ran to it and walked back. He ran and he walked. Distance ran and distance walked. We have a problem here where we have two of the same distances, so RT equals RT. One is ran and one is walk. I get 3 of the 4. His running rate was 6 kilometers, and his walking rate was 3 kilometers. How far was it to Versailles? If the round trip took 6 hours, so the time of one plus the time of the other one equals 6 hours. I can substitute here for TR. I'll put the I'll put the TW on the other side. That becomes a negative TW plus 6. You follow this equals 3 TW. Now I have negative 6 TW plus 36 equals 3 TW. These on the same side, that becomes 9 TW equals 36. TW equals 4. So if TW equals 4, then TR equals 2. And the time of walking was 3, and the time of running was 6. These both equal 12, and it's asking us how far was it for Versailles. His running weight was 6 kilometers, so we are putting this into kilometers, so it was 12 kilometers. That was number 1. We're going to number 19. 108.25. Find the domain and range of the function shown. So without even looking at the problem, if it's a domain and range problem, I simply go domain and range. And I know the domain is an X and the range is on the Y. That's still without looking. I know these directions can go like this, whether they're equal. So on the X line, I'm looking at this range. I see starting on the left side is an open circle on -5. -4, I'm sorry. -4 goes across to 6. And the 6 is a positive. The -4 was not, I'm talking about equal, I'm sorry. And then on the Y line, I see we start off on a -3. And we go up to a +3. That is, both of these are equal to it. We have an open circle on -4 only. 6, checking myself. There is your answer for number 19. Number 10 is 109.16. This one is an x +3 square root equals x -3. And to get rid of this square root sign, we simply square it. What we do on one side, we do on the other. So x -3 squared. Let's see how this comes out. X -3 times x -3. X times x is x squared. X times -3 is -3x. This one, this -3x again. And -3 times -3 is a +9. So now we have x squared -6x +9. And this brings this out of the square root sign. So we bring this across. This, first off, we'll bring this one across. That becomes a -x squared. And then I go to this -6x, bring it across. It's a +6x plus 1x. That's going to be +7x. And here's a +9. Comes across. It's a -9. Put these two together is a -6. And all of this equals 0. Continue on. We need to get rid of our negative. So when the negative comes out, now we have x squared. That changes these signs. -7x +6 equals 0. X and x looks like a -6 and a -1 would equal +6, and the two combined equal -6. So our answer is either a +1 or a +6. It's not necessarily a given. We have to check ourselves out. So I'm going back. I'm going to rewrite. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all this off the top. Well, I think I have room down here. I'm going to do this. So here we go. This, where my x's act, I'll put parentheses equals -3. All right, It's either a possibility of a positive 1 or a positive 6. Let's try the 6 first. Positive 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So I have a 3 equals, again, if that was a 6, I'll put this 6 over here. And 6 negative 3 is 3. So 6 is our right answer. We do need to check the 1 out also. So we'll do this on the 1. Sometimes it's both of them, positive 1 and positive 1. Positive 1 plus 3 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2 equals positive 1 and negative 3 is negative 2. It does not work. 2 does not equal negative 2. Positive 6 is our answer. That was number 10. Going to number 17. And that is 110/28. (110/28) is the quadratic formula. Here we go, and the best way to do it is simply rewrite it as with parentheses, plus or minus square root of b negative 4 a and c over. I told you to memorize this. I hope you have. And it says that a is 5. These are the a's. And the b's are 7. These are the b's. Again, you better memorize these. And the c is a little more difficult. Let me write this out, then I'll erase it. It says 4c equals 9. To solve for c, we have to get rid of 4. He's right here multiplied times it. To get rid of him, we have to divide. So c is an unusual number. It's a 9 over 4. Can we solve for that? Is that going to be complicated? We'll find out. Start up here. Negative 7 plus or minus 7 times 7 is 49. 4 times 5 is, and that's a negative 20 times 9 over 4. That is, we can cross cancel here before we multiply. That's going to simplify it. So let's cross cancel here. 1 and 5. Oh, that makes it much easier. Negative 5 times positive 9 is a negative 45. Okay, so we have a 49 minus 45 is 4. It's still in the square root. And to keep on simplifying, square root of 4 is 2. So now we can rewrite all of this mess we got up here. Let's see if I do it right. Negative 7 plus or minus, we decided that's a 2 over, right here, 2 times 5 is 10. Down to this point. So I'll just erase this so it doesn't get confusing to you. Negative 7 plus a positive 2 is a negative 5, and put that over 10. We'll simplify later. Take the positive away. It says plus or minus, so now we're going to go this. A negative 7 and a negative 2 is a negative 9 over the 10 again. Negative 5 over 10 is a negative 1/2. And we cannot simplify that, so that's just a negative 9 over 10. Those are your two answers. That was 17. Go to number 7. Number 7 is 112/8. Okay, number 12, number 8. Which of the following statements is true? Here's what they're giving us. X negative 2, and we're going to do our homemade graph. X negative 2. This is inclusive brackets here, so this is going to be on the X line. It's on the inclusive. And we change this, whatever this is, to the opposite. So we got a positive 2 on the X line. we are going to be right here's the x line of positive 2. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Positive 2 is over here. Positive 2 is what we're looking at. Okay? The graph of x is shifted vertically 2 units up. Is it up here? No, it's not. Is it 2 units to the right? Yes, it is. So it's a B. Verify the other two. 2 units to the down? No. 2 units to the left? No. This is B. So the answer to this one is B. Number 8. 8 has an A and a B, and it's a little bit mixed up there on your review sheet, but let's 8B is meant to be 112 9B. So 112 9B, here we are. You see it there? We're on number 8, and we're doing the second one, 112 9B. That one is A. Here's the original. 2 square root of 2A negative square root of 3P, and that is squared. So we're going to multiply it times itself, which is going to be like this, n equal. Okay, I wrote it up like this, took the brackets off of it. Here we will multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. A times A is A squared. This is a negative. This times this is a negative 6 AP. Again, squared. This time we're going this way. This is going to be a negative 3. I can do this. This is the same type of square root. Negative 3 AP. And then one more time, negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 6P squared. Down, put this together. The square root of 4 is 2. Square root of A squared is A. This is not solvable, so we just negative 1 and negative 1 is a negative 2. 9, I'm sorry. This should have been the same, 6AP. This was 6A. This should have been a 6AP. I'm sorry. I'll demonstrate this again. 2 times 2 is 4. A times A is A squared. 2 times 3 is 6. A times A is AP, negative 6AP. Here we go again. Negative 3 is negative 6 and AP. So we'll add those together. So now I got a negative 2 6 AP plus, this should have been a 9. I'm really goofing up here, sorry. 9, now the square root of 9 is a 3 and the square root of P is a P. And that is your final answer. That is on number 12B. You should have 2A, negative 2 6AP plus 3P is your answer. That was AB. Number 16 is next. 16 is 11223 on this same problem here. The originals, I'll just put the original here. A plus X 1 plus P. C. There's the originals, and it says find the M. Let me get through. All right, try to keep our heads together. The common denominator is BMC, so it is the first one is a AMC plus XBC negative BM equals PBMC. We're solving for M, so this is the only one that doesn't have an M in it. Okay, so I'm going to write this up again as X BC equals, and put everything on that side, PBMC. This one is negative AMC, and this one's going to be a positive BM. Factor the M's out of these. M out of here is leaving this the PBC. Negative M out of this one is a AC. Positive B, M out of that one is a B. And a rear this XBC. So now I'm ready one more time. XBC, and put this all under here. PBC negative AC plus B. That's what M equals right here. That was number 16. We're ready for number 20. Number 20 is 11230 on this last one right here. The base of the right solids, find the surface area of this. Remember, the surface area is going to have a top and a bottom to this. So when we're doing this, we're just going to double up on this one. In this case, I see a 4 and a 7. Add those together to get our area. 4 and 7 is 11, and normally we would divide this by 2 to get down to 5.5. However, there are 2 of these, so let's just leave it 11. So 11 times the height, is the height 5 or 4? It is 4. So that's going to equal 44. So now we have that rectangular piece, and now we have to get the circle on the end, and that's going to be 3.14. And if you remember, the area of a circle is pi times radius squared, so the radius squared is 2 times 2 is 4. And normally we would half that because it's only half a circle. We would have a half circle on the top, half circle on the bottom, so we just leave it like it is. And that is going to be 12.56. So now we got the area of the top and the bottom. To get the area of the lateral surface, we get the perimeter. Now we're ready to get the perimeter of that half circle. And the perimeter is going to be 3.14 times the diameter, which is 4, but we only have a half a circle, so we're just going to do it times 2. 3.14 times 2 is 6.28. So we've gone around the half a circle. Now we go around the rest of it. I see a 7, a 4, and a 5. 12. So 9 and 7, that's 16. Plus 16, that gives us 18.28 is our perimeter. Take the 8.28 as your perimeter times the height, and it's back up here. It says that is times 9. So let's do it. 18.28 times 9 equals 164.52. We should have our answer if we add all that together. So I got 164.52 and 12.56. Start back over. I'll do the top. 44 plus 12.56 plus 164.52 equals I am wrong here. Let's see what I've done wrong. This is what's wrong right here. I'm sorry. This is plus 16. That's where something went wrong. So I got 16 plus 6.28. That is 22.28. Now I take that times the 9 on the height times 9 equals 200. This is where I was wrong. I'm sorry. 200.52. 12.56 and 44. Now I have total of this is 257.08. And my label is feet, and it's squared. 257.08 feet squared. That was number 20. Going back to number 6 on the other side of the page. Number 6 is 114.8. 114, number 8, sketch the graphs of the following functions. 4 of those, A and a B and a C and a D, are homemade graphs. There, 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 there. And I always write these up here. We have a negative x squared. The next one is an x squared plus 3. And C is a x positive 3 squared, parentheses, and the final one is x negative 3, again squared. Okay, without the inclusive marks like these two have, we always work with the y line. Remember that, that's the real key. We have inclusive marks, we're going to work with the x line. So that's one of the simple things. And x squared, what kind of a sketch is that? That is this type of a sketch right here. Remember that? So here we have a negative x squared. We will start right here because there's no number and it's upside down. That's going to be here. This one is an x squared, but it has a positive 3. Again, it's on the y line, so we go up here to, I want you to mark this, positive 3, and then put your mark like this. This one is an inclusive mark, so we're going to be on the x line. We change the sign inside the inclusive marks. That's a negative 3, so we go over here, negative 3, and a line like this. This one is a negative 3, so it's going to be a positive 3. Put a positive 3 here, and that is number 6. Number 14. Is 115.16. 115.16. Quickly put, they look like our domain is reals, and the x is in the middle like this. Put the signs that it gives us. It gives this on the left side and this on the right side. Now we move the 3 outside. Over here with the 4, minus 3, that's going to be a 1. 3 on this side is going to make this a 4. So we're going to need a number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 4, and a 2. 1, it's on real. 1 is x is greater than 1, and it also is equal to it. So I put a solid dot. X is less than 4, and it does not have equal sign, so I'll put an open. So between here is where x is at. That's number 14. And then number 15 is 116.18. 116.18. Graph on a number line again. This one has an or in it, so it's going to be x is greater than the 2 on the other side, then 4, or x is less than, or I put the negative 3 over there. That's going to make this a negative 3, and it's reals. Number line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 6, negative 4, negative 2, 2, 4, and 6. Okay, so x is greater than 4. It's on reals. Right here, it's an open circle because it's not equal to it. So it goes this way. X is to the left here, and it also is equal to -3, so we put a solid one, and that is number 15. The next one is 8A. 8A is 11620. 11620 is A. This is what we have for this one. 2 plus square root of 3. Nope, sorry. 2 positive 3 to the square root of 3. And times, it's really 2 negative square root of 3. So we're going to be multiplying those times each other. Okay, we can do that. Set it up that way. We'll multiply this times each other. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times this is positive 6 to the square root of 3. And here we multiply this across here. That's going to be positive. Oh, that's a negative times a positive. Negative 2 times the square root of 3. And one more time, this is 3. This is going to be negative 3 times square root of 9. Add these together. 4 plus 4 to the square root of 3. Square root of 9 is a 3. Negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9. We can combine these two numbers here. Negative 9 and a positive 4 is a negative 5. Positive 4 to the square root of 3 is your final answer. That was number 8. Number 11. It's 11623. 23. Factor by trinomial, so we're simply factoring this one. Put it in descending order, 3x squared, negative x, negative 4. To do this first, 3x and x. And it's going to be negative 1, a positive 1, and a negative 4. Would that do it? That would equal, this negative 4 times positive would equal this, and 3 times positive 1 is a positive 3, and a negative 4, that does equal it. There we go. There's your answer right there. That's number 11. Number 12, 11825. 11825 is very similar. Okay, so we write it in descending order. 3x squared, negative 2x, and negative 5. Right, again, prepare, solve for this first, 3x and x. And this must be a negative, how about a positive 1 and a negative 5? Would that do it? 3 times 1 is a positive 3, and a negative 5 does equal negative 2. There's your answer. Number 13. 13 is 11827. Factor by grouping. P squared C, negative AB, positive P squared B, and negative AC. You always look up here and see where you see, I see these P squared, there you are, staring out at me, so let's just factor those out, and we're left with a C plus B. Then we go to these two. And if we factor out a negative A, we are again left with a B plus C. Rewrite that, P squared, negative A, and a C plus B. 13, one more, number 9. It's 120, number 21. Find the equation of the line that passes through these points. 8 and 6, -1, -1 and 3. Okay, our formula, of course, is y2 negative y1 over x2 negative x1. Remember that? So we do it. We'll just erase that. 3, -6. On the bottom, it's -1, -8. 3 -6 is -3 over -9. Negative over negative is 1/3, positive 1/3. So our y equals 1/3 x. And then we solve for the other part. We will use the 3 for the y, and 1/3 x is going to be -1. -1 times 1/3. That is a -1/3. Okay, move it over here, it's a positive 1/3. Over 3, get a common denominator. I put a 3 under that. That makes this a 9. So positive 1 and a positive 9 is a positive 10 over 3. That's 21 to the 9. That is correct. Wasn't sure, wasn't confident on that one. And that is all of these. Hopefully that will help you. We walked through it very fastly because of the amount of problems that we had. Don't just copy all of that. Study each one out, and after this you do your 2 reviews and take your test, and let's do our very best. Thank you.